Hello everyone and welcome to Season 2 of Cobblemon. So, two things before we start. One, I apologize if there's any background noise because my mom is currently listening to some Black Folks music and it's not the type of Black Folk music that I like Whitney Houston. It's happening to me. Or Marvin Gaye. I know a man ain't supposed to cry. Or Earth, Wind and Fire. To be honest, I don't really know what the genre is to begin with, but it's just not my cup of tea. So if there's any background noise, I would say, then it's her fault. Second of all, I think I might be getting sick, so what I'm doing is I'm recording this before I get sick. Otherwise, I lose all motivation, and I don't even think there's going to be an episode for Sunday. So, welcome to Season 2, like I stated. Well, this is the old world. 1.6 isn't here yet. Of course, it started as 1.5 isn't here yet. That was quite a while ago. So we're going to create a new world. We are going to keep this to survival. We're going to up the difficulty to normal for now. We might do hard later on, but honestly, I don't really feel like that right now, simply because of the fact that I already died too much in normal mode. You've seen it plenty of times in Season 1, if you remember that. It's only been a week, so don't bother with it. Don't bother with it. When it comes to the world settings, I have been checking out large biomes and amplify, but I think we're just going to go with the default option because of the simple fact that large biomes are even more annoying to traverse in, and amplified is even more annoying than that to traverse in. We're gonna keep generating structures, bonus chests. Do we go with game rules? This should be fine in total entity, cramming, threshold. Maybe we can get rid of this because 24 seems a little too low. You know what? I think this is about how many mobs can go on one tile, so I'm gonna stick to 40 or something, 50, just in case. I don't know if this is actually useful for later on, but could be for farms. Experiments, data packs. I do have a few data packs added, or well, I think they are more like mods or plugins rather than anything else. I have a few new ideas for the season, by the way. Let's check it out where we start, first of all. We start at the edge of a birch forest. Okay, there's a village right away. That's nice. I did change my skin, or I actually let Tony edit my skin for this season. As you can see, I'm wearing white robes instead of black ones. I decided to put white robes, like a doctor's lab coat, on top of my own robe. So now I have two robes. Is it hot? Yes, definitely. It's also hot in this room right now, but that's because the neighbors are currently doing some renovation, which is also annoying because you keep hearing I have a ton of new ideas, or well, actually I do have one idea which consists out of a couple smaller ideas, because that's usually how I go by these seasons. I make one big idea and then I get all type of small ones. I've been waiting for you, little man. Let's see if there's anything nice in this village. I remember back in Season 1 when we started that, I spawned next to a village as well, so this is kind of nice. And how about this one? Does this one have chests? No. I might just steal a bed though. Because you never know. Let's get that little tab out of the way straight away, shall we? Oh. Wait, I need to press the N key. Here we are in the 1.5 update. And as you can see right here, we also have the Hisui forms being added. And these guys, some of them have animations. Rowlet is just... pull the lever, crunk. Well, yeah, that. Let's go over all of these. So I've tried Bulbasaur, tried Charmander, tried Squirtle, tried Chikorita, tried Cyndaquil, tried Totodile, Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, done all of those. Well, of course you have this boy. Chimchar, Piplup, Snivy, Tepig, Oshawott. I've done all of them. Now I think about it. There's not a ton of anymore that I don't have. I've tried this one, tried this one, tried this one. Alola, I have tried them all. Yes, this one I tried in a Nuzlocke recently. Then we have the Galar options, which are... I think I've never tried this one, but I don't like this one bit, so I'm not gonna do this. What I want to do, my brain, and also Josh, his brain, for Coco. Because he just... Oof. I don't even can begin to describe how good this Pokemon is, or how just head empty must eat he is. Like, just look at him. Look. Okay, so what are we gonna do right now? Well, first of all, we're gonna make sure that we actually have a start to our survival series. So let's start surviving. The plan and the goal for this series is to make a Pokemon research lab. That's also why I'm wearing the lab coat. You know, look at him. Palpatino. Professor Palpatino. If you remember the first couple episodes of Pokemon, like the anime, then you might have seen the Pokemon Research Lab from Professor Oak. That's what I want to build. Something along the lines of that. It's not specifically this, so I'm not going to rebuild this. But I've already been experimenting with walls and such, so I know what I want to do. So the plan is to make that a research lab together with a big fucking chunk of land where we make some mini biomes where every single Pokemon is. And when I say every single one, I don't mean every 600 that is currently in the game, because I think that's quite a lot. At least as long as my brain allows it to, you know? So that's gonna be Season 2. Basically just make a nature preserve, if you will. And this actually does seem like the perfect place to start, honestly, together with that village. I think we might want to get rid of the village, though. What I could do is just make the... let me see, is there is a hill over there somewhere. Let me check how big that hill is. Because the research lab of Professor Oak is also on the hill. And we can use the villagers from the village to abuse them for a villager farm later on. Which is a good thing for us as well. Last season I talked about doing a villager breeder and such. And I've never done that before. And I kind of want to tackle that this season too. Let me up. Let me up. No. You're not gonna get away from me this time, little buddy. No, you're not. You're mine. You're either gonna love me, or you're gonna choke in your own vomit. It's either one of the two. And there's probably a lot of people who say, okay, I'd rather choke in my own vomit then. But here you go. We already have the saddle. Oh, this one is actually quite fast, so that's nice. This will make traversing a little bit better. But we do have a plugin for that, and I'll get onto that later. I think this is the hill that it's showcased, right? Yeah, this is the hill. Okay, this is kind of smaller than I anticipated. It's also next to the pillager. I don't think that's a good idea though. Let's go here, see what's up here for a second. I see a structure over there. We don't really care about structures right now, simply because of the fact that we don't have a brush yet. What I want to do first is figure out where I want to build, because that's the usual. So what I'm looking for is a plains biome like this, and this spawn is perfect. But I'm looking for a little hill, and I don't want to make one, and, you know, that's when stuff starts happening. Alright, took 5 minutes to just get him across the water, but we're still here, and we probably need to go over another piece of river, isn't it? Was this a... No, that's not a lake. No, not another... My rivers are my only weakness, goddammit. My god, there's... Why? Why is there 3 villages in the vicinity? The thing is, the more I start thinking about whether I want to build up a hill or a small hill or a big hill, whatever, the more I think it's not going to be a good idea to build up a hill, because I already started building my professor's or my research lab in creative on my creative world, and the thing is, it's quite huge, so I don't think it's going to be a good idea to build it up on a hill. Okay, I've put him in there, and it's also time to sleep really quick, so let's do that. There we go, finally. Been there, done that. Now, you stay over there. I'm also gonna create a waypoint. Horsey. There we go. So we know where to find him. I do not think that it's a good idea to traverse with that little guy if he continues dying in the water every now and then. So I think we're better off just doing this. I want to get on the hill to see how big it actually is. There's this little flat area on top here, which looks nice. And I think what we could do is make this like pallet town or something, or just a little town that's nearby. Because it is a town that's nearby if we're gonna build up here. This honestly looks really nice for... I don't even think I have to really edit this. I do realize that there's a battle tower in the back there, but I don't really care about it right now because I'm not looking for the structures. And those structures will not leave anyway, and they will not be looted. Because there's nobody else here, so yeah. I'm also gonna keep that away. I just want to look for something right now, you know? So, and this looks nice to at least get some bolder Pokemon in, like Geodude. And the evolution line of it, and some Machops and such. The reason why I have this idea is because you can actually put Pokemon into a... What was it called again? A pasture block, either one of the two. And it's quite annoying to make right now, because we don't have literally anything yet, but... It's quite easy to make once you start getting some iron and such. So, what a pasture block does is the following. It basically allows you to put out your Pokemon in the wild, or wherever you want to put them at that specific moment. And it allows them to roam free in a 60 by... I think it's a 64 by 64 block area. So once we've caught a Pokemon, like Miltank for example, we can let it roam free via the PC. Which is very nice. And I got to say, I do like this part over here. I think I found it because there's a little overhang here which we can abuse as well, I guess. I don't want to say abuse in that type of context. There's enough wood close by, and there's a dark oak close by, so we should be able to do some stuff here. And I think we're also on top of the stone part where we just came from. Yeah, okay, everything. I think that this is solid, but the only problem that I really have is terraforming this to actually be big enough for the research lab that I'm eventually going to make, which is also going to be our HQ. In case you're wondering, Harley, have you become smaller? Yes, I have. I made myself somewhat smaller in like this corner where I'm right now because I think I was too big last time. And also for the streams that I do. Twitch.tv/Harley is taken. What do you think? I think this is it, right? Yeah. A thing that I added was whenever I catch a Pokemon, everyone in the team gets XP. Because the base mod of Cobblemon doesn't allow that. Which means that right now, whenever I catch a Pokemon, for a Coco and the rest of the team will get XP. Also, while you're here, name this little guy. Because he needs to be named. I thought about calling him Coco my or no, the other way around. Loco my Coco. If you guys like Loco my Coco, then sure, we'll keep that. If this video reaches 5 likes, then yes, it will stay with Loco my Coco. And if not, then it'll be the top comment. But right now I want to start with making some tools and just the regular base, because we're not gonna start with anything else. I still have to check what materials I actually need for the research lab itself. I think I already know what type of materials I'm gonna use, but not from the top of my head right now, because I think I made a nice looking wall, to be honest. Ah, perfect. This is gonna trigger a lot of people, and that is exactly the point, by the way, just in case you didn't know. What do you think is more annoying about this cabin? The fact that it's like small in terms of being able to walk here, or the fact that you're not able to jump? What do you think? Is not being able to jump more annoying, or not being able to walk more annoying? If you have seen Season 1, you might know that I've been having trouble with work. That I'm currently out of a job because of the fact that I had an internship and I was there for 20 weeks. And then they gave me a bad grade, which meant that I had to do an extra assignment from school to make sure that the grade actually is like still a 6 out of 10 instead of a 4 out of 10. I resigned after I got that grade because I was demotivated as hell and such. And if you've not seen that video, go watch it. I think it's called Undeadly Resignation, and it's episode 8 or something from the first season. I have news, and it's not good news. I got the shaft from school as well now. At least that's what it looks like. Because school said, hey, you remember that extra assignment we could maybe give you? Because it was a maybe all along. Yeah, about that, you miss a little too much in your portfolio, like the assignments portfolio, for us to be able to give you one extra assignment. Which actually means that the entire 20 weeks or 5 months are gone. And when I say gone, what do I mean with gone? Well, basically gone. The reason for them not giving the extra assignment is basically me not showcasing enough progress within my portfolio. Which is not totally outlandish, but in my portfolio it also states like, hey, I have a couple of diseases that kind of knocked the wind out of my sails during this. And I thought that, you know, maybe for once, I could be the exception, but in a good way. And usually, when there's a rule, I am the exception to it. And if you don't know what that means, I have a lot of bad stuff happening to me. I think it's inherently tied to the name Harley or something, because it's unique. So I also must have a lot of unique situations happen to me or something. But usually, it's bad news. Like this, for example. Them not being able to give me any extra assignment because they did not see any progression. Or not enough progression. The fact that that's one of the criteria also kind of sucks, because how do you showcase progression in a portfolio? Like, okay, I built this little dirt hut and now it's a stone hut or something. What do you want me to do in terms of progression as a criteria? Which means that if this actually continues, keep in mind that I did send an email to the big boss, as I like to call her, to actually have a conversation with her or a meeting with her about this specifically, because I will not play that and just roll over like so, simply because of the fact that my own mentor said no. Then again, now I think about it, my mentor did talk to the big boss, but I kind of want to talk to her myself to just know for sure that there's actually nothing we can do to fix this, because she wants to fix this. Both the boss as well as my mentor want to fix this, but they have no idea how. To be honest, when it comes to that, I don't really have a lot of faith in the conversation as of yet, because of the simple fact that my brain was also hopeful at the fact that maybe I could get a extra assignment as well. But now that I got a no from my mentor, it's probably also going to be a no from the big boss, because she already talked to her anyway. And keep in mind, I'm not expecting them to bend the rules or anything, but what I basically am asking for them is like, okay, I am missing some criteria. How can I make sure that you guys actually can give me the amount of points that are necessary to actually meet those criteria? What type of extra assignment or what type of extra thing do I need to do in order for you to be able to give me those points? Because I think if you play your cards well enough, then they might actually be like, okay, you know, we'll help you. There have been multiple people who have already stuck out their neck. But it all started when I got that 4 out of 10. And to be honest, yes, it is my fault that I got that 4 out of 10. But not all of it is something that I can do anything about. Simply because of the diseases that I got, Crohn's disease, rheumatism, migraines and such, is a combination of diseases that, first of all, they're chronic illnesses, which means that they will be here until the day I die. Second of all, what are those two doing with the cow? What the fuck? Second of all, they come and go, which means that right now I could have no issue whatsoever with my diseases and tomorrow I'll be dead. And I also stated that in the video back then, it's not their fault, the fact that they gave me a 4 out of 10, to be honest. It's completely my fault, but the thing is, I was expecting some slack. I think I was hopeful that they would cut me some slack, but that didn't happen, and they gave me a 4 out of 10. Which meant that school has to give me an 8 out of 10. And school's like, your portfolio is not good enough. So, yeah. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, it's partially my fault, but it's also partially my fault where I cannot do something about it. Which means that there's like a kind of discrepancy, I would say, between what I am or what I could be blamed for and what I cannot be blamed for. And that's the issue that they didn't take into account. Where's that creep over there? They didn't take into account the fact that, oh, I actually have problems with my diseases. So yes, you are not able to participate as well as we think you could usually. Which means that, yes, I think that the grade I got was mostly based on my diseases and not my actual participation for what I was able to do. And that kind of fucking sucks, because they are wanting more from me, and I wanted to give them more, but the thing is I couldn't. Keep in mind, I also said this to everybody that was working over there, like, hey guys, I have these diseases, so just keep that in mind. I'm not saying, like, cut me some slack with literally every fucking thing. That's not what I'm asking for. But they did start giving me slack. They did start cutting me slack all over the place. And when the slack mattered the most to me, they didn't give me it simply because of the fact that they said, hey, we cut you some slack and you haven't done anything. Or you haven't done as much as we thought you would. But long story short, that is the current situation as it stands right now. So basically, I am waiting on an email back from the big boss to see if she's willing to talk to me about it and say like, hey, maybe we could actually help you, or maybe we could actually give you something, some type of assignment or some type of thing you can do without doing all the 20 weeks all over again. Because I did do the 20 weeks and I do have enough proof, as they would like to call it, but it's just not the proof that I would like to see. What do you think about the Pokemon or the starters from Paldea, like Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxley? Because when I first saw Fuecoco, my brain was like, yes, this is all that is necessary for me to complete this entire game. And I did complete the entire game with just Fuecoco, so... Well, not just Fuecoco, but Fuecoco as my starter. Even when I started realizing what my other options were, my brain was like, no, Fuecoco is the best out of the bunch. Usually my gut instinct is the only instinct I need. Although I will admit, sometimes I'm wrong, because like in Gen 6, I talked about Chespin, and then it evolving into Chestnut. Chestnut just plain sucks, to be honest. Let's be real here. Does anybody really like Chestnut? There's a few. Don't get me wrong, there's a few people who like it. But either because it's underrated, not because its design is so damn good, because it's not a good design, let's be fair. Even if you're trying to be as objective as possible, you won't say that it's a good design. Look, if Chestnut had a resume, it's looks sexy in Rule 34, I touch grass a little too often, I like fighting with my shield, and I have a bad design. I'll keep you guys up to date, by the way, about the school situation, because I am expecting some form of email to come either today, tomorrow, or whatever. Thus far, nothing yet, so unfortunate. What we do need is a little farm of some sorts. And I postponed this in the prior season as much as I could, making a regular water farm. Or a water farm. Yes, of course, Harley. How do you make a water farm? I don't fucking know. 2 pieces of fucking water next to one another already makes a water farm. I'm talking about a seed farm. The thing with these type of things is my brain thinks about one thing, but reads another thing and says that aloud. Aha, you did the funny. Well, almost. We're gonna have problems with the boys. I'm sorry, Bouffalant. Luckily, you don't fight back. Thank God that you don't fight back. You would kill my ass. Where does Voltorb even go, though? Like the regular version of Voltorb. Like the Hisuian version of Voltorb isn't that hard to put in a biome. Because what I want to do with this Pokemon Research Lab is make mini biomes. So over here we're going to have the mountains. Then back here we're going to have another fucking village. What the fuck is going... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I kind of want to have a snowy biome, and then a mountainous biome, and then a cave biome, an open cave biome, and probably also an underground cave biome, a forest biome, and kind of all of the biomes close by, so we can throw them all in there. And it's a big project, I'll be honest, but I feel like we can do it, right? Especially if there's a few people joining in from time to time. The Harley wall. So that's our biggest goal. A thing we are gonna do at one point is iron mining. Or just let's just start with a mining session. That's a thing that we want to do in either one of the upcoming episodes. Probably gonna be the next episode. I want to go on an exploring session at one point. I want to tackle a villager breed. I think this is later on, but I still want to do that. We need to talk about mini biomes. Which ones? As in, which mini biomes are we gonna make? That's something you can put in the comments down below. Which mini biomes do you think should be here, at least? And which are the more... you know, you have the subtle ones, like just the grassy plains and the desert and such. But what are the more subtle ones, as in the specifics for, like, Porygon? How are we gonna tackle that one? Or how are we gonna tackle Voltorb, for example? Like, electricity overall. How are we gonna tackle that one? Things like Ghost Pokemon... also a thing, because I kind of want to make a... It's either going to be per typing specifically, or it's going to be... Well, not necessarily, I would say, per Pokemon, but per Pokemon type, as in there's going to be a swamp for a swampy Pokemon, and that's not necessarily the case that it's going to be ground and water, because there's not a whole lot of groundwater types. Do we need to make it type specific, or do we need to make it Pokemon specific? So we put both Whoopers in the mangrove... but at the same time, we put Woopermore in the swamp, and in a regular swamp, and then Paldean Wooper or Pooper should be placed in the mangrove, for example, because he likes that more. So how do we go about by that? So if you have specific Pokemons that you have a biome for, let me know in the comments down below. Another thing I want to tackle is a mob farm. And the only thing you really need for a mob farm is some redstone, a couple iron ingots, and a lot of stone from top of my head, or just a block overall, but I wouldn't say it's gonna be wood. I would say it's gonna be stone then. But I feel like this is more late game, and this is more something that we're gonna do. I feel like the mining session is what we're gonna do next. I don't know how big this is gonna be. It could either be that I just stick to this place, you know. It could also be that I'm gonna stick to the entire plains biome you see before you. Could be this, and it could be this. But honestly, let's just start with making the research lab. Because I want to start with making the research lab, but that's gonna take a while. Let's be honest, I have a grandiose idea, and I want to start that in episode 3 or something. Either way, did you enjoy this episode? Then leave a like. Let me know in the comments down below all the things that I stated, plus everything that you want to state yourself. We now have an official goal, which is a Pokemon research lab together with a big vicinity of Pokemon areas to make, you know, so biome specific. areas, which are going to be small projects to make sure that the big projects is there. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you all again in the next episode, where we are going to go mining. Until next Sunday, bye-bye.